Hey there, my name is Christy Ann, and I am starting a new channel. This is it, Commute Quitters. The reason why I named it this is because I am actively trying to get out of having a day job that I have to drive into to where I am fully operating everything off of my own businesses, well, fully surviving off of my side businesses. And I want to start passing on tips to other people so that way they can quit their day job and operate their own various side hustles or main hustle, whatever they want to do. So today, the first video I'm going to do is actually going to be about Onlyfans. Just to give you a little bit of background about me, I have worked as just a standard model, fashion model in the past. I've done a little bit of acting. Besides that, I actually operate several other businesses. I own a paddleboard cart. I have 3D printing business. I have done a lot of freelancing as a business analyst and a technical writer as well. So I've done a lot of different stuff. I've even given music lessons. So I have a decent knowledge of marketing. Granted, I don't have any kind of degree in it. My degree is actually in communications, but that kind of gets me a little close to that area. So some of my study has been in that area. And of course, I've learned a lot of marketing to market my products. So let's get back into the OnlyFans thing. So I recently decided to start an OnlyFans, and I'm at the point now where I am just overwhelmed with the marketing side. Trying to do all the social media and trying to keep up with everything is difficult, just like with operating any business. And so I'm at the point now where I need assistance with certain parts of my OnlyFans. Now, I want to always be connected directly to my OnlyFans. I don't want to hand the whole thing over to somebody, just to make that clear. I always want to be the one who's on there chatting with my customers. I want to be the one who's uploading. I want to ask my customers what they want to see. So I was not looking for somebody to completely commandeer my stuff. But what I found out during my research is that's exactly what happens. So what I did is I started putting in applications to different OnlyFans agencies I found online. Put in an application with, so that way you can have a list if you are interested by the time I'm done telling you about it, if you still remain interested. I applied to DOS Agency, Bunny Agency, Rize Agency, E-Management, 1 Million Girls, Solomon's Place, Luminaura, and Presence Media. So I only heard back from Luminaura. I think that's how you say it. I only heard back from them, and I spoke to the CEO on the phone, and he told me about what they offer. And so I'm going to tell you all about that. I suspect that what they're offering is probably going to be common across all of these agencies. I could be wrong. So if you own an agency and it's different, make a comment below. If you have worked with another agency or you know that they have different, they offer different services and they expect a different percentage paid to them, feel free to make a comment. This is in particular to what I was told by Luminaura. So essentially what he told me is that they use the algorithm on social media to promote you. They use Twitter, Instagram, and Reddit primarily. I don't know if they use TikTok or not. They might, I'm not sure, but those were the three he talked about. He said specifically they use the algorithm. So I asked, do you do any paid advertising? No, he doesn't. He just uses the algorithm, which I took that to mean they put up posts at the right time of the day, or they figure out what the right time of the day is after experimenting with the right hashtags and such like that. So they don't do any kind of paid anything on there. I asked, do you do any kind of media buys? And for anybody who is not familiar what a media buy is, that is essentially buying advertising on other platforms. For instance, especially in the adult entertainment arena, there's very few places you can actually buy ads. There's companies like there's Traffic Stars, there's Traffic Junkie, there's Plug Rush. There's a few others that you can buy very inexpensive pop ads and push ads that are on adult-oriented sites, which could be anything from straight up porn sites like Pornhub to just adult blogs that may talk about sex toys, just for instance, and these ads are actually very cheap. I mean, you can get them down to 0.001 cent a click. They don't do those. And I was like, okay. I asked, do you do any kind of publicity? And he didn't know what I meant. I said, publicity as in traditional publicity. Do you have a publicist who reaches out to journalists and, people in the media, people at, like for instance, I've seen OnlyFans models have articles, for instance, in the Daily Star, which is a UK publication. There's others I can't remember offhand. He said they don't do that. The thing is that anybody who has sold anything in traditional form knows that you have to have publicity. I don't care whether you're selling a product. I mean, I also too am a musician, and I know that if you put out an album, you need publicity to get people to know about it. If you want blogs to write about you, if you want Rolling Stone, speaking about being a musician, to write about you, you got to have a publicist reach out to those editors and to the reporters to write about you. The same thing with OnlyFans. If you want to get somewhere, just depending on social media is not going to get you as high as you could go. So he doesn't do that either. That company, Luminaura, did not do standard traditional publishing or, pushing for publicity is what I mean to say. So then he told me the percent they expect to get, 50%. 50% of what you make for only doing social media and just using the algorithm. So let's do the math. And I am horrible with math, but let's do our best to do it in our head. So we can make $100 on OnlyFans. They want 50%, so I have to hand them $50 for that 100 I make. Now, OnlyFans wants 20%, which is a very fair amount. Don't get upset about 20% because if you've ever operated your own website, it costs a lot of money. 20% to OnlyFans is a fair price. So there, you've just handed $20 over. You're left with $30. Now, you got to do your taxes at the end of the year, and on average, you're going to spend about 30% of your money on taxes. So how much are you left with? Nothing. No money to put your butt out there. So, no, 50% is absolutely unacceptable, and it's a little bit of an insult. Standard agent fees is usually 10%. We're talking about actors, models, even musicians, any type of entertainer. Typically, the agent goes out, gets you the work, and they get 10% of what you get paid. Sports agents typically make 3 to 7%. And I mean, imagine that, you've got these athletes out there making millions and millions. Would a sports agent really be entitled to half of that when the football player or the basketball player is the talent out there sweating and doing all the work and all the practice? No. So why should an OnlyFans agent be entitled to half of your money when you're the one who's exposing your body, if you're going that far? You're the one who's putting together the content. You're the one who's buying the clothes, setting up the scenery, putting on your makeup. You're the one who's dealing with the repercussions, the harassment, the potential job losses in the future, no. So you never do you owe to give somebody 50%. So my opinion is, if all of these agencies operate like that, you do not need an agency. Not at all. The alternative, do the work yourself, or as a professional would do, begin to invest in employees. That means you're going to have to take a part of your money that you make, or if you haven't started working, work somewhere else to come up with some capital and start paying people to do some of your social media or whatever it is you need to do. I will follow this up with another video giving you tips on how you can find people to work for you. And probably I'll end up doing a lot of videos on that because that could really break out into a lot of subjects. I have hired people before. I've had actual contract employees that work for me hourly. I hired them actually out of the Philippines. That was for my paddleboard product that I sell. Unfortunately, the Philippines, due to their laws, they cannot do any kind of work that's involved in the adult industry. So I am going to look and see if potentially I could hire anybody out of India to have, because I like hourly employees that I have more at my disposal. Outside of that, the other option is to hire people on a gig basis, using sites like maybe Upwork, Fiverr, maybe, depending on the gig. I'll give more recommendations on what are the best platforms to hire people from, depending on what it is that you need, because I have hired a lot of different people for all kinds of work. I've hired people for social media. I've hired people to do writing, a lot of different stuff. So each platform does kind of have its strengths on the type of employees you can find. So anyway, so let me go ahead and start to wrap this up. As I said, my opinion about hiring an OnlyFans agency is don't do it. I don't think that it's necessary now that I have learned what little amount they do for the large amount of money they expect from you. Granted, if you can find one that only wants 10% and is going to do the further work of media buys and getting you publicity outside of social media, then it might be worth it. But I can tell you what, I don't care how hard they work for me. If I was to make $1 million and they expected me to get them half of that, no, it's not going to happen. And especially since you have to give so much to taxes and OnlyFans. So if anybody approaches you, or you think about approaching a OnlyFans agency, just make sure you really know what you're getting into. And do not sign anything without a lawyer to look at everything. Okay, that's it. We'll see you in the next video.